guys? Welcome back to the channel, and this is the update video that a lot of you have been waiting for. This is the Turbo Busa update video. The bike's still at Travis Yeager's right now. He's doing the turbo kit on it, but I wanted to update everybody, tell everybody what's going on with the bike, and also tell you guys what I'm putting on the bike. I'm going to go in depth through the entire build, what I have planned so far, pretty much everything I've bought so far, and how much money it takes to build a bike like this, because there's a lot of misconception about this stuff. I mean, every video I put out, I pretty much am guaranteed one person to comment on an H2 video and go, you can buy a Turbo Busa and absolutely destroy that thing for 15 grand. And it's like, no, you can't. I mean, you can do it decently cheap, but I mean, nowhere near what people think. They think that you can buy like an $8,000 Busa and put 5 grand into it and have a world beater, which is hilarious. You absolutely cannot. You can have a very fast bike for that, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to touch that bike. I can tell you that much. 5 grand into a Busa is not going to touch a 300 plus horsepower H2. I don't care. Like, it takes so much money to get these things set up properly. I'm going to put some pictures up of where the Turbo Busa is at right now on the turbo build side of it. The intercooler picture that I post here, we're actually going to double down on cores on it to make sure it has enough cooling, so that is not what the intercooler is going to fully look like when it's done. I also want to give a huge shout out to 2 separate shops that are doing the work on this. Well, one is Travis Yeager at Yeagerworks. He's doing the turbo kit on the bike, and he is going to be selling these turbo kits. He's using my bike to actually make the turbo kit and see how it's going to work and work everything out on it so that he can market these and then sell them. And obviously that would give you more options on the market, so you're not just RCC or On3, you know, another good competitor, and Travis does great work. The other shop is Boosted Cycle Performance. That's who the bike's going to after it's done with Travis Yeager. It's going to go to Boosted Cycle. Rob over there is going to be building it, and he has a motor there that he was kind enough to start building that motor, and he's just going to take my motor out of the bike and pretty much swap for even trade on the motors, so that the motor is done when the bike shows up to him from Travis Yeager. So I'm going to go ahead and go through this list. This will help people out that are, if you're thinking about doing a Turbo Busa and you're kind of wondering what kind of money you're actually going to have into the bike. Now, keep in mind, this is my build. It's not the regular Turbo Busa build. This is not a 300 horsepower bike build. This is like a top tier, you know, open checkbook build. It's not the most expensive one out there. Obviously, you can get like 100 grand in one of these bikes, but it's up there in price. I'll tell you guys that. So if you wanted to build a Turbo Busa, you could do it a lot cheaper than I'm doing it. You could do it a lot more expensive than I'm doing it. But mine's going to be up there at the top or the top of the price chart for a street Turbo Busa. Now you get into pro mods and stuff like that. It's a completely different ballgame. But so first things first, the bike. This is my little cheat sheet, by the way, guys. So I'm going to be holding this the whole time because there's a lot of stuff on here. The bike I got is a 2013. I think it had like, I want to say like 6,000 or 8,000 miles on it when I bought it. I've only ridden it once. That was $8,500. I thought that was a pretty solid deal. It was a clean bike, a little bit of scrapage on the plastics, but I mean, other than that, clean bike, a little bit of paint fade. I think I ended up painting it, so not a big deal on the scrapes and stuff. But I picked it up for $8,500 used, which is about what a Gen 2 goes for. Now, it is a 13 model, so that's where the ABS starts coming on these bikes, which is a pretty crucial thing for one of the items I'm using, which is the AMS 2000. I'll get into that a little bit later. But 13 plus, if you can, is what you want in a Gen 2 Turbo Busa. But I mean, you can do it with an earlier model and add ABS into it if you wanted to. That's only if you're going the route that I'm going with an AMS 2000 though. Next piece is the motor on it. I have $5,500 in this motor. Rob at Boosted Cycles building it. So this is going to be pretty much head gasket, valves, springs, titanium retainers, Wasner pistons, rods, head studs, main studs, bearings, labor, all that good stuff. I'm leaving the trans stock. Rob doesn't think I need to build it. So if I do ever have issues with it, I'll build it at that time, but I don't think it's going to. I mean, I'm not taking this bike to the drag strip ever, and It will do standing half miles. That's the only time the bike's going to be launched, and it's probably not going to be launched like super hard. Most of the time it's going to be roll racing, mile racing, half mile racing. Like, that's what I'm building the bike for. It's not a drag bike. Clutch, I'm doing a NLR Boost compensating clutch on it. That is $1,300. Great clutch. I've heard fantastic things about it. The AMS 2000. So Boost controller, I am doing AMS 2000 on it. And the reason I'm doing that is it's boost by speed. So it uses the ABS sensors on the bike and does boost by speed. So it watches the front and rear wheel speed sensor. So it knows if you're spinning, it knows if you're wheeling, and it ramps and boosts accordingly. So, I mean, I don't think there's a better boost controller on the market right now, but if there is, let me know. But for now, well, it's going with the AMS. So that's $1,300. Hardcore swing arm, 2 to 6 over swing arm, that's $1,300. BCP air shift kit, Raptor shift light, between the two of those is a little over 600 bucks, and that's going to be auto shift. And I mean, hopefully we don't have air shifter issues like we had on the first bike, but the first bike I had to chase my tail on the air shifter issues. Either way, this will be all set up right. The AEM wideband 325, chain 200, extend the brake line 120, and then tune and labor is about $2,000 on installing those parts. So total price for the motor build and those pieces I just told you, plus install and everything, $12,605, plus the bike cost of $8,500. So that is motor, swing arm, AMS, all that good stuff. Onto the turbo kit. It is obviously a custom kit. Travis is making me the kit. He is helping me out a lot on price on this because he's using my bike to develop the kit. So keep that in mind. This is not going to be how cheap the off-the-shelf kit is, I'd assume. It is probably going to be cheaper than an RCC kit. If you just went and bought an RCC Ultra, figure on anywhere from $11,000 to $13,000 for the RCC Ultra kit. Mine is, so I bought the turbo and I bought the wastegate for $1,400. It's going to be a Precision 5558. I went with the 82 exhaust housing on it, and it is a journal bearing turbo. It's not a ball bearing turbo, and I believe that we should be able to make 600 wheel horsepower with this turbo, so we're going to be pushing that. I'm throwing everything at this bike. We're going to push it as hard as we can, obviously until we hit a limit or until Rob doesn't think it's safe, but I think it'll hit 600 pretty easy. I talked to Rob, and we're going to go with E98 fuel instead of C16. He says that he generally sees like 40 more horsepower with E98, so we're going to go that route. And then obviously it's also going to have pump gas, which is going to be hopefully in the 380 to 420 range, anywhere in there. That's why I did an intercooled kit. It's going to be on pump gas a lot of times for the street. And then when we go to events or somebody's really talking smack or something, we'll throw the E98 kill mode on it. The turbo, wastegate, $1,400, and then the rest of the intercooler kit, the rest of the turbo kit, is going to be intercooler, fuel system, header, all the piping, all that good stuff is $6,600. And again, that's with Travis helping me out on it, so it's going to be, I would assume that this kit's going to be more expensive on your end. The shipping on the bike, I have to ship it from Ohio to Florida for Travis to work on it. Then I've got to ship it from Florida to Houston for Rob to work on it. And then it's going from Houston back to me in Ohio. So that is $1,800 for all 3 transactions of shipping. Other odds and ends that I want on the bike, these obviously, you don't have to do these on a Turbo Busa, but I'm just telling you what my build is. Montgomery Motorsports 4-inch over carbon fiber tail. I love the look of that. With the 6-inch over arm, I think it's going to set it off really, really well. The carbon fiber front fender, the carbon fiber air intakes, carbon fiber mirror blocks, all that together is about $2,300. Penske rear shock, $1,300. Bump seat, $350. Carbon fiber wheels. So this is a big one for me. I have never done carbon fiber wheels. I've always wanted to do carbon fiber wheels, and I figured I'm throwing a checkbook at this bike. I'm going to go ahead and do carbon fiber wheels. I'm going to do the BST, what are they? The Rapitex, BST Rapitex. I'm going to do the red clear coat over them, and the ceramic bearings and all of that. The bike is going to be, so the tail section of the bike is going to be all carbon fiber. The front section, I think I'm going to paint pearl white, and then it's going to have a couple carbon fiber pieces like the fenders and the block-off plates and all that. And then the wheels are going to be the carbon fiber with the red clear coat over top, so it's going to look money, boys. As far as tire, I'm going to either run a Q4 or a Drag Max, $250. GPR stabilizer, $500. Brake pads, $100. Lightweight battery, $250. And boost gauge, $200. So this is a general rundown. I'm sure there's more stuff I'm going to be buying. This is just like everything that I can think of off the top of my head. All of this together, $39,255. I'm going to be over 40 pretty easily, I assume, just with other random odds and stuff. You always run into stuff. So that's pretty much what it takes to build a bike of this caliber. And yeah, now obviously you don't do carbon fiber wheels. That's a good chunk off of that because carbon fiber wheels are $4,500. You can get it for, 35 grand if you have shops do it. But the other thing you got to think about is if you do an RCC off the shelf kit, then you're talking 5 grand right there difference between my kit and an RCC kit. So that puts you right back up at 40 grand without the carbon fiber wheels. You can do it cheaper. You can do all of this cheaper if you know what you're doing and you build the motor yourself, you install the parts yourself. I'm fine if I want to install an exhaust or if I want to put bolt-ons or put a clutch in a bike, like that's fine, I'll do that. But I'm not going to build a motor for a 600 wheel horsepower bike. Like I don't feel comfortable doing that myself. So I'm going to pay a shop to do it. I'm going to pay Rob to set the bike up properly so that it's fast and I'm not just toying around with it. Now, obviously, once it gets to me, there's going to be a lot of testing that needs to be done to ensure that the bike works properly. It's not just going to be turnkey and go. It will be insanely fast though. I promise you guys it will be insanely fast. I'm hoping that I get it back midsummer. That's if the stars align. It may be later in the season. Because the other thing is like the shipping company, to ship a bike from one place to another, it's like a month each time. Like from the time you call them to the time they pick the bike up to the time they drop it off, figure on a month. So that's 2 months more just in shipping before Rob even touches the bike. And Travis is still working on the kit and he's not done with that. So I would say late summer. But we are doing a half mile come May. And there's going to be a lot of fast bikes there. Three of the H2s I run with are going, and they're all 300 plus horsepower like my bike, so it's going to be pretty savage content. But I just wanted to do a video, let you guys know what actually goes into one of these bikes, and really, it's not just buy a freaking bike and slap a turbo on it, call it a day. I mean, these bikes are expensive to build. I'm gonna have way more in that than I have in my H2. I've got 27,000 total in my H2. That's with the carbon fiber. I bought it used, I bought everything right. So 27 grand total on that bike, and it's a bike that will run with a 400 to 500 wheel horsepower turbo Busa. I mean, it will. So just keep that in mind. The H2 is not just like stupid money for no reason. It does work. But that's the update video. So thanks for watching the video, guys. If you have any questions, post them down below in the comments. And I will put a link down below to Rob at Boosted Cycle and Travis at Jaegerworks. If you have any questions, need anything, they're the guys that I'm going to. I did a lot of research before I hopped into a shop to do this as far as the motor build and everything. Travis he did the work on the H2. He does fantastic work, and it takes a little bit to custom make a kit, so I'm going to give him the time that he needs, but I trust his work, and he does everything really well. Like, I'm really happy with the H2, so I wouldn't hesitate to reach out to either of those two guys. But thanks for watching, guys. Until next time.